tested. We bringing all the answers you requested. You guessed it, it's unrested. Teaching street job buddies, that's Unrested.
Hey guys, welcome back to another JFAQ with Unrested. That's me. And I just want to let you guys know a few things, a few updates before I get started on this JFAQ. First of all, you probably noticed that I'm not putting one out every single day. That's because summer break is now over and I am back to work at my job. And that means I'm going to probably only put one of these JFAQs out every 2 to 3 days. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. Try not to shed too many tears, okay? But there is good news. There's another new video of me over on Give Me a Flakeman. I was a guest sensei over there. I've got one video up on there so far. There's 2 more coming on their way. I've just recently put them together and I need to send them on over to Victor so he can put them up on there. If you get a chance, go ahead and check those out. Give Victor some support, and also, you know, myself too, by checking out my guest sensei spot. Another quick thing is some people have been sending me a lot of questions that I've already gotten a bunch of times. And if I don't answer your question, it either, number one, means I've already answered it, or number 2, I'm just going to send you a quick link to one of the FAQs, okay, that already answered that. And if I can't remember the number of the FAQ, I'm just going to say, hey, go check out one that I've already done this on, okay? For the most part, you know, at this point, I have enough subscribers where I can't possibly answer every single email. And if I don't get to yours, I'm really sorry. I'm trying to answer as much as I can, and I try to comment as much as I can. But just remember, if I'm not answering your question, it's not that I'm ignoring you. It's that I probably already answered it before in a past FAQ. So please, 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 before you write me any questions, just go ahead and scroll on through there. I know there's a lot of them. There's 80 plus at this point, but I have title topics in front of every single FAQ that lets you know what it was about, okay? So if you have any kind of interest in any certain thing, check those out first, see if I covered what you're interested in. If I have not, shoot me that question, I'll be very happy to answer it. Okay, so let's get started. On our past FAQ, not too long ago, we just talked about couples in Japan, and I dealt with the question of what do I do if, you know, my couple, the person I'm coupled with or the person I'm dating wants to stay in their country and I want to come over here. How's that long distance relationship going to work, okay? And I covered that topic already, but now I got a new one someone asked because of that. They said, what if both people want to come over? How does it work if you come over as a couple? Can we both get visas? And what if we're not married, okay? How do the visas differ and stuff like that? And that's a good question right there. First of all, I'm going to tell you already about another website on here, another YouTube channel, and that is Samurai Fingers. And Samurai Fingers is a couple that's already over here in Japan, okay? They have a band over here. They both teach over here. They're a great couple. I just met them at our last YouTube meeting. You can go ahead and check that out, and right away that answers your question. Yes, couples do come over to Japan, okay? But there are certain rules, obviously, okay? If you're married, if you're already married, one person can get a work visa, they can come over, and that other person that's married to them can get a dependent visa, okay? Now, that person with the dependent visa can eventually flip their visa to a work visa too if they have a 4-year degree and if they land an English teaching job or some other job that they're qualified for, and that can get them a work visa in Japan. Now, if you're not married, both people are going to have to get a work visa. Japan is not going to just take your word for it that, you know, that boyfriend or girlfriend is going to be yours forever or that you might possibly marry them in the future, okay? Sorry, it just doesn't work that way. But yes, if you are married already and one person gets a work visa, the other person can get a dependent visa. I had one friend, and he only had the dependent visa. His wife actually had the work visa, and he made money by still doing websites for companies back in Australia and then emailing him his work, and they just sent his paycheck over to Japan, which was totally legal, okay? And he still had to pay taxes in his own country. And he made his money that way, and his wife made the money with her work visa and teaching English in Japan. Totally legit, Okay, and that worked out perfect for them. They still do that to this day. Now, I've had some other friends when I first got over here with the whole Kiowa scene. I had about 3 groups of friends, and they were all couples, and both people had gotten work visas, and of course both people had 4-year degrees that allowed them to get those work visas. That's going to be your same requirement as usual, 4-year degree to land a job here, especially now with the recession. It's a lot harder to land a job here, so you're definitely going to need the 4-year degree these days. But that's the way it would work. No marriage, okay, both people need a work visa. Marriage, one person needs a work visa, the other person can get a dependent visa, okay? That answers that question. Okay, our next question concerns Japanese TV shows such as dramas. I recently had a viewer write in and say, Scott, you know, I watch a lot of Japanese TV dramas. Do you think these are good for learning Japanese? Do you think they help out? I watch them with the subtitles on, and I try to listen along and see what I can make out in Japanese. And do you think that's helping develop my Japanese? And I would definitely say yes. That's a very good thing to do. If there's any show that you're going to watch, it's drama. Drama's going to give you the best, most common, most down-to-earth, normal Japanese that you're going to hear on the street and in daily life when you come to Japan. A lot of these people who are watching anime and reading manga and stuff like that, that's great. You know, that's good. But a lot of the phrases, words, and things that people say in those in Japanese are just never used. Okay? Alright? A lot of that stuff in there is just never used. I've talked about this before, but people continue to write in and say, I watch Naruto. Is Naruto going to help me know Japanese when I get there? Is that what people speak like? No, okay? Nobody speaks the way people talk in Naruto, okay? I mean, there's some things that they do say, but for the most part, the way people speak in a fantasy is just that. It's fantasy, okay? The language is fantasy, the phrases they use are fantasy, the situations are fantasy. They're probably not going to happen to you while you're here in Japan. Now, dramas, I'm not saying a lot of drama is going to happen to you, but a lot of things they're going to say you're going to hear, okay? One great thing you can do with dramas and any down-to-earth, normal, you know, TV show that you watch about Japan, okay, is look at their mouth, okay? I recently had another ATL talk about this, and he told me all about looking at the mouth of the person speaking and how they pronounce the words, okay? One thing Americans do when they talk or speak Japanese, they move their mouth way too much and they overpronounce and mess up all the hatsuon, okay? When they're saying Japanese words, okay? They sometimes say too many words. They use watashi too much. They use anata too much. And, you know, I'm American. I did it when I first got here. You know, I'm just as much to blame. And they also just move their mouth way too much and overpronounce things. And one thing you'll really start to notice if you watch a lot of Japanese people speak, if you look at their mouths when you're watching these dramas or these movies or whatever you're watching, they don't move their mouths quite as much to use their language, okay? The mouth, the lips, everything stay closer together like this, okay? If you ever watch a woman sometime say, "Nande," okay? They pretty much barely move the bottom lip, and the top doesn't even move at all. I've really noticed that a lot when Japanese women say, "Nande," okay? Just the bottom lip moves, okay? Now when you first get here, you might be saying, "Nande," okay? And that sounds horrible, okay? By the way, Nande means why, if you're wondering. In Osaka Ben, alright? Usually Doshite for other parts. Anyway, watch the mouths. Watch how people speak the language, okay? You can really see how the lips stretch, how the tongue moves, how different parts where you would bite down or not bite down, keep the mouth shut, or barely move the lips at all. That really, really, really helps you pronounce words, okay? One thing you really got to look at and really will help you develop. Also, it's always good if you have those subtitles on, you know, if you're still learning, if you can't just follow along perfectly, like I can't either, okay? That's cool. That's okay to have those subtitles on. But don't always rely on translations. Sometimes translations are really, really bad, okay? If you've ever seen the movie Harry Potter, when it came over here, I looked at some of the translations and read them in kanji and stuff when they were on the movie screen. They're wretched. Okay? So don't always trust translations 100%, but once again, that's a fantasy movie, so you shouldn't be following that Japanese. Okay, hope that helps out with you guys learning your Japanese and moving along with your studies. If you have any more questions concerning anything I've talked about today, feel free to write me a message. Okay, I hope to get you the next JFAQ as soon as possible. Until then, have a good one.